The betrayal of venomous serpent struck at the heart of my fragile domestic peace in the cruel light of February 2018. A revelation, stark and unforgiving, arrived in the unforgiving form of an envelope, unveiling the chilling truth. My wife, my partner of 3.5 years, had surrendered herself to another's embrace, a 30-year-old deception shattering the illusion of our genuinely good marriage. My work, a peculiar blend of travel and home-based tasks, had been a quiet counterpoint to her ascendant career as a director in a technical sales firm. Yet even as our lives diverged, stretched thin by my journeys and her relentless ambition, I believed in us. 5 years prior, at a mutual friend's barbecue, our paths intertwined. An undeniable current, an instantaneous magnetism sparked between us. I, a man rough around the edges, found myself inexplicably drawn to her beauty, her sharp wit. It felt like defying fate, being desired by such a woman. Our courtship was a whirlwind, a passionate blur of stolen moments and discarded clothes, leading to a hasty marriage after only 8 months. We carved out a life in a sprawling apartment, saving for the dream of a home. But as the initial 3 years of our union faded, a subtle shift began. My affections remained unwavering, yet she grew distant, picking fights over the most trivial matters. Any attempt to question her increasingly late nights and frequent work outings was met with a wall of anger, dismissed as the necessary grind of climbing the corporate ladder. She, emboldened by her escalating career, asserted my lack of right to scrutinize her, given my own brief absences. I pleaded, offering to curtail my modest travel, a mere 3 or 4 days every 5 weeks. But our arguments, a futile dance, circled endlessly, resolving nothing. Looking back, the signs were there, cloaked in her persistent late hours and the gradual erosion of our intimacy. I, a fool blinded by trust, attributed her fatigue to work, ignoring the gnawing ache of rejection that chipped away at my self-esteem. The clandestine texts, later unearthed, remained hidden, concealed by the cloak of her company phone, a device she wielded extensively from the spare bedroom now transformed into her personal fortress, a home office. Then came September of 2017, when Kathy's evenings began to stretch beyond the confines of work, morphing into mysterious engagements. From a single night a week, these excursions blossomed into more than 3. My nature isn't prone to jealousy, yet the undeniable allure she possessed, the inevitable advances from male colleagues, gnawed at me. Her focus narrowed, singularly fixed on her work, particularly collaborations with male executives. The first tremor of suspicion, a month before the shattering D-Day, materialized during a seemingly innocuous trip to the store. As I retrieved groceries from the back seat of her car, a flash of pink caught my eye, glinting beneath the passenger seat. Her bra. I knew it instantly, a familiar brand. In that moment, a cold dread coiled in my gut. Why was it there? The irrationality of it sickened me, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. When I returned to the kitchen, a ghost of myself, Kathy, ever observant, inquired if I was all right. I shrugged, masking the tempest raging within. Though I concealed the turmoil, the suspicion clung to me like a shroud. I began to piece together the fragments, desperate for concrete evidence beyond that unsettling pink omen. We lived in a sprawling city, her office a towering monolith downtown. For a time, I tried to banish the ugly suspicion, choosing instead to focus on rekindling our connection. One Friday, a symphony of effort. A gourmet meal, a meticulously set table adorned with fine china, silverware, and flickering candles. a bottle of exquisite wine, a bouquet of crimson roses. She swept in as usual, and I, brimming with hope, presented my offering. Her response was a sad smile, a casual dismissal. Plans with coworkers. A quick bite before she vanished. A shower first. My insides twisted into a knot, speech replaced by a suffocating rage. While the water ran, I made my move, planting my company phone in her back seat, a silent tracker. My personal phone in hand, I returned to the kitchen, systematically discarding the feast, the flowers, the remnants of my shattered hope. She emerged, radiant and oblivious, suggesting we eat. "Never mind," I retorted, my voice a strained whisper. "Go out with your friends." Her eyes, wide with surprise, met mine. "Are you mad?" she asked. "I'm disappointed," I confessed, the words a bitter echo. "You never want to do anything together." Anger flared in her eyes. "Stop acting like a child," she snapped, a snarky remark about my short fuse. "Foolish me," I murmured, letting the venom sink in. "I thought you'd like to spend the evening together for once." A smirk, a huff, and she was gone. I activated the tracking, watching her progress to the familiar bar, a 20-minute journey to her work buddy's haunt. An impromptu decision seized me. I had to see for myself. Her car sat there, undeniable, in the bar's lot. Across the street I waited, a stranger to myself, a stalker in my own nightmare, yet driven by an urgent need to quell the gnawing anxiety. An hour later they emerged. Her and a man, one of the executives I'd seen from her office. He pulled her close, his lips finding hers. My stomach clenched, my body numb. They slipped into another car, disappearing into the night. I followed, a ghost in their wake, 10 minutes later arriving at the inevitable, a hotel. I pulled over, watching as they emerged, hand in hand, disappearing into the illuminated facade. "I've seen enough," I whispered, an idiot in the stark glare of truth. My fist hammered against the steering wheel, a primal scream. Something inside me snapped, a complete blankness, a momentary blackout, an out-of-body experience. When I re-emerged from the void, a single thought consumed me. I needed a drink. And so my life veered into an unforeseen direction. I drove, aimlessly at first, the raw images of her betrayal replaying in an agonizing loop. The outskirts of town offered a fragile solace, a quiet bar where I sought refuge. The bartender, a woman with observant eyes, noted my shattered demeanor. "You look utterly deflated," she remarked. I forced a smile. "You could say that." Then a voice beside me, a man, Rye. Though conversation felt an insurmountable task, something about him resonated. The words, the raw truth of my wife's infidelity, tumbled out. He listened, then slapped my back, a gesture of shared understanding. "Buddy, you are not alone," he offered. "It happened to me a few years ago. Sometimes these things happen for a reason. Your life can change, for better or worse. It's entirely up to you." His words, a profound tremor, shook me from my stupor. He was right. I was hurting, but I could still see the logic. Rye, a man of the earth, salt of the earth, asked about my plans to move out. The thought had never surfaced, but in that instant a fierce need to escape her orbit ignited within me. Fight or flight. Rye, sensing my turmoil, offered a lifeline. "I've got a travel trailer on my property. Needs a bit of work, but why don't you come take a look? I'll make you a great deal. Even have a nice piece of land you can park it on. You'd be doing me a favor, keeping an eye on it." Might do you good to get away." His words registered slowly. The bartender, who had been listening in, smiled. "Hell, honey," she interjected. "If I could have escaped my crazy ex-husband years ago, I would have jumped at the chance to live in his trailer. Anything to get my head on straight." I felt like I'd stumbled into the twilight zone, yet a flicker of hope sparked. "Yes," I told Rye. "I'll think about it. Maybe check it out." We parted ways, a fragile promise hanging in the air. A sliver of perspective, a chance to escape this nightmare mingled with the crushing heartache. One thing was absolute. I wanted no part of her, no reunion. Infidelity, always my unbreakable boundary. I returned to our apartment, sinking onto the couch, lost in the swirling chaos of my thoughts. Kathy emerged, her voice laced with inquiry about my whereabouts. I turned, my voice steady, asking her the same. "You know," she replied, "I went to grab drinks." "Are you having an affair?" I asked, blunt, unyielding. A flicker of surprise crossed her face, quickly masked. "No," she countered. "Why would you ask me that?" "I heard you might be involved with someone from work." "Who told you that?" she demanded. "Someone I know," I replied, refusing to divulge the name. "You're being ridiculous," she scoffed, drunk and delusional. She pressed about my evening, but I held firm. Out to a bar with friends. Her gaze lingered, questions unspoken, before she retreated to our bedroom, leaving me to the desolate couch, the weight of her month-long deceit pressing down. Sleep offered no escape, only vivid, tormenting images of her with the other man. Amidst the disgust, the hurt, the self-pity, a sudden blinding revelation. Ray's trailer, a comforting beacon in the storm. It was pain, raw and searing, that drove the primal instinct of flight. The next morning, a silent ballet of denial played out. We navigated the weekend as if nothing had shattered. A few days later, I met Rye at his ranch, a vast expanse of land, and there, the trailer. Not just nice, but truly remarkable. A 26-foot haven equipped with every necessity. Memories of college spring breaks, of traveling with friends in a similar trailer, flooded me. I made Ryan an offer and he accepted, the price so low it felt like theft. He gave me directions to his property, nestled near the foothills of the mountains, a picturesque tableau of trees and scrub brush, bordered by hiking and biking trails. A small shack on a hill overlooked the property, offering water and electricity for the trailer. Rye would tow it, set it up. In the ensuing weeks, my attempts to extract honesty from Kathy were met with a relentless gaslighting. Even my direct warning that infidelity would sever our ties permanently was met with a deeper plunge into denial, a deliberate perpetuation of the emotional fog. Her denial was so profound it almost made me laugh. Had I not been consumed by agony, I cursed myself for not having captured photographic evidence. Yet through this mental torment, a resolute truth solidified. I wanted out. I began to plan, meticulously, stealthily. While she was at work, I started moving my belongings, piece by precious piece, to the trailer. Each box, each bag, a small act of defiance, a quiet reclaiming of myself. I noticed a subtle shift in Kathy, a newfound pleasantness, but it was too little, too late. Her company outings continued, and then a day came when I too prepared to leave. As she headed out, I dressed. "Where are you going?" she asked, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Meeting up with some friends," I replied, echoing her own dismissals. "You wouldn't know them. Too much shop talk." Her face fell, a hurt expression. Okay, have a nice time. I definitely will, I responded, a bittersweet triumph in my voice. Between working on the trailer and reconnecting with Rye at the bar, a new world of friendships unfolded. This crucible of betrayal had ironically forged enjoyable moments with a captivating circle of Rye's friends and family. I even managed to moderate my drinking, a conscious effort to avoid further pitfalls. Then a pronouncement from Kathy, an upcoming work trip. "Who's going?" I inquired, feigning casual interest. "The executive team and some department heads," she replied. I met her gaze, a sharp barb escaping my lips. "I hope you have a really great time with your boyfriend." The words ignited a furious argument, a volley of accusations and denials. In many ways, I yearned to know more about her affair partner, but Rye's wisdom echoed in my mind. In the long run, it doesn't matter who the other guy is. It only matters that she decided to step out on you. She burned down the marriage. She can own it or deny it, but facts are facts, brother. Damn, Rye should write a book for the betrayed. Her work trip became my liberation. The moment she left, I gathered the last of my valuable possessions, clothes, work equipment, leaving behind the furniture, the ghosts of a life that no longer existed. Instead of the elaborate letter I had initially envisioned, a simple note, stark and to the point. I hope it was worth it. My wedding ring, a cold, heavy symbol of a broken vow, rested atop the paper on the kitchen table. A colossal weight lifted, replaced by a profound sense of freedom. No more hiding. The baggage would remain, the hurt a long and arduous journey, but now I had space, time to heal. I simply needed her out of my life, as quietly and swiftly as possible. I'm not proud of my lack of confrontation, of never extracting a full confession, of never unleashing the torrent of anger, the curses she deserved. But in my mind, she didn't deserve it. She disrespected everything we had built, our future plans, our shared history, the house we saved for, the family we dreamed of, all gone. No turning back. I owed her nothing. The fallout was hers to bear. I had no agenda, no lawyer, only a desperate need for clarity. My new trailer and the crisp mountain air were exactly what I needed. The following week I ran again, the rhythm of my feet against the earth a testament to being alive. Kathy's texts while she was away went unanswered. Simple updates. "We just landed. Having a team dinner." Then a few more desperate queries. "Where are you guys? Let me hear from you." The day she returned, my phone exploded. Texts, calls, relentless. Even her mother, after the first day, tried to reach me. My own family, only my distant father remaining, remained uninvolved. After the first few tearful messages, I stopped listening to her voicemails. Her texts evolved, a desperate litany. "What is this? We need to talk. I don't know what you think you know, but there's nothing going on. I'm not involved with anyone. I'm not having an affair." After a week of my silence, the dam finally broke. "I'm sorry," she texted. "Things got out of hand. I was involved with someone at work, but it meant nothing. I got caught up in my work and you were gone a lot and I just made a mistake. I was going to end it." A mistake? This was the confession I had yearned for, yet it only fueled a deeper disdain. Why couldn't she have been honest? This wasn't the woman I had envisioned building a future with. Mistakes don't last for 6, 8 months, a year. Her pathetic pleas for me to return to work on the marriage finally ceased for a couple of weeks. I continued to ignore her, guarding my sanctuary, refusing to yield information about my whereabouts. Then the fury erupted. Text messages, a barrage of accusations. Coward, you won't talk to me. You don't care about us. Please come home so we can talk. Where are you? I can come to you. Damn it, Paul, please, let's talk and fix things. The words, a jumbled mess of excuses and barely veiled apologies, flowed over me, in one ear and out the other. Finally, I changed my number. Update, June 2018. An email arrived. Kathy had retained a lawyer. She was filing for divorce, the final brutal truth. My casual, okay, sounds good, unleashed a torrent of demands, a desperate plea for my presence. She hounded me with emails, each one a desperate gasp for reconciliation. But I remained unyielding. Eventually her fervor waned, replaced by a simple proposition, an uncontested divorce, and she would vanish from my life. I readily agreed, and months later the chains finally fell away. I was at last a truly free man. I never saw her again after walking out of that apartment. No grand farewells, no desperate pleas for closure from either side. Yet it seemed that emptiness mattered more to her than it ever did to me. For a few fleeting months her shadow lingered. A stray song on the radio, once ours, would pierce the quiet, a phantom ache blooming in my chest. Memories, sharp and unbidden, would surface, then fade. But time, the relentless healer, eventually dulled the edges of the past. Now I stand on solid ground, ready to declare I am officially divorced. And life is not just good, it's exhilarating. I've met someone, a fantastic woman, a serendipitous encounter on a trail near my home. A flat tire, a moment of shared humanity, sparked something truly special. She's incredible, breathtakingly beautiful. And though a few years my junior, she embraces my unconventional life, playfully calling me her mountain man. I'm in no rush to plunge into anything serious, but neither am I closing myself off to the possibility of a profound connection. My trailer, my sanctuary, remains my home, and I've consciously stripped away the unnecessary, embracing a life of beautiful simplicity. The outdoors, my constant companion, has been my ultimate therapist, washing away the ache of a broken heart, the lingering echoes of betrayal. I understand everyone navigates these storms differently. I was fortunate, no children yet, only 3 years into a marriage that crumbled before it truly took root. I believe I made the right choice for myself. You don't have to endure a life with a betrayer. If you ever find yourself in a similar abyss, please don't wallow. Move forward. Invest in yourself. It gets better. I wish everyone the deepest joy and fulfillment life can offer. Pete, you handled it with flawless precision, and Ray? Ray is a beacon, a guardian angel. I shared a brief update, grateful for the outpouring of support. This story, however, holds a darker truth about my ex. We haven't exchanged a single word since the divorce. Her emails still arrive, sporadic and unwelcome, and I silence the urge to reply, even as curiosity occasionally tempts me. Then the true shockwave hit. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a mutual friend, her voice laced with amusement, revealed Kathy's profound unhappiness. She's not a happy camper, the friend chuckled, a stark contrast to my own burgeoning joy. Kathy, it seemed, had confessed to our friend that I would forever be the one that got away, and given the chance, she would fight to win me back, to lay bare every hidden truth. I didn't press for details, though more fragments of information now gnaw at me, information I'm hesitant to reveal. The real bombshell is my ghosted ex-wife actively hunting me down, I've rewritten this agonizing update 5 times, desperate to make it comprehensible. As I hinted before, a chilling suspicion had taken root. My ex-wife was attempting to track me, perhaps to rekindle a flame long extinguished. I'd moved a good 2 hours from our former life. Last weekend in a coffee shop I frequented near my new home, I saw her. A cold dread settled in my stomach. This was no coincidence. Mercifully, I managed to slip away unseen, but fate, it seems, delights in cruel irony. This past weekend, back in town for groceries, I found myself drawn to that same coffee shop, a familiar haven where I could work on documents using their free Wi-Fi. As I exited, heading for my truck, a voice sliced through the air. "Paul!" My name, spoken with an unsettling familiarity. I glanced across the street and my heart plummeted. There she was, Kathy, my ex, waving. It felt as though the world had tilted on its axis, as if the apocalypse had finally arrived. Frozen I stood, a statue of disbelief, as she sprinted across the street, her arms outstretched, anticipating an embrace. Instinctively, my palm shot out, a silent barrier. She skidded to a halt, her face contorting in a mask of profound hurt. "Paul?" she whispered, her voice laced with desperation. "I've been looking for you. I heard you moved out here and wanted to see you. Can we talk?" I felt like a cornered animal, a wild creature caught in a snare, and against my better judgment I relented. "Okay," I said, the word a bitter taste on my tongue. "Let's find a table or something. We can talk for a minute." She immediately suggested my place. "No," I stated flatly, leaving no room for negotiation. We found a bench outside a small shop at the end of the block. She began a litany of observations about my transformation, my new look, my beard, blah, blah, as she so artfully put it. My physique, she gushed, so fit. She played the part perfectly, a seductive siren in white shorts and a tank top, her hair pulled back in that ponytail I used to adore. My internal alarms blared. Her sex appeal, blatant and calculated, was dialed to 11. I had to rein myself in to watch this charade unfold. She started with an apology, a tearful confession of the affair, admitting that karma had struck with brutal precision. After I left, her company had unearthed the truth, creating an environment so toxic she'd eventually resigned. Her affair partner, a man with a fiancé at the time, had been reprimanded and relocated. He, blaming her for his displacement, lashed out, prompting her to expose their sordid secret to his fiancé, severing their engagement. She lowered her head, tears streaming, and I sat there, utterly devoid of words, staring into the middle distance. She straightened, her gaze fixed on me. I finally asked, "What do you want from me?" She wanted to tell me she never intended for an affair, that she felt ensnared by the ruthless corporate politics, convinced her affair partner had manipulated her with his charisma and power. She'd foolishly believed she was using him as much as he was using her. She had been on the verge of confessing, especially after I'd confronted her with my suspicions. She hated herself during that time, the afterwork drinking a desperate attempt to numb the gnawing guilt. After I left, she felt a profound foolishness and agonizing solitude, as if her heart had simply imploded from loss. She immediately severed ties with her affair partner. Because I wouldn't reach out, wouldn't communicate, she felt compelled to seek me out, to try and make amends, to see if we could, incredibly, start anew, even knowing we were already divorced. I simply stared, then lashed out, my voice rising with each word. How dare you think you can just waltz back into my life and wipe away all the wreckage you caused? You expect me to forgive everything you did to ruin our marriage? I told you if you cheated, we were through. There is no forgiveness, no reboot of this relationship. You killed it. You destroyed what we had the moment you stepped out on me. How stupid do you think I am? I followed you one night. I saw you go into that hotel together. I realized then my voice was booming, drawing curious glances. She began to sob, gripping my arm. I let her cry on my shoulder for a moment, then gently nudged her away. She looked up, her eyes swimming. I deserve all this. I know I do. Can you at least let me take you to dinner or something? I don't want to leave. I want to talk more. I want to make sure everything is out in the open. I need time with you, time you didn't give me before. Please, Paul, I know you may not want to hear this, but I love you so much. She whispered, I didn't realize how much I loved you until you left me and shattered me. And I shattered you just as badly. I can't forgive myself. I don't want to forgive myself until the day I die. Overwhelmed, she began to hyperventilate, uncontrollable sobs racking her body. In a desperate attempt to soothe her, I pulled her up, embracing her, feeling it was the only way to quell her distress. In that moment, a chilling realization washed over me. I had in fact broken her heart, just as she had broken mine. I began walking, leading her down a quiet path where the chaos began to subside. How did you find me? I asked, my voice calm now. Did you hire a private investigator or something? She gave a small, watery laugh. No, though I thought about it. She then confessed to running into Stacy a couple of weeks ago. Stacy, oblivious, let slip that she'd seen me. Kathy, like a relentless predator, forced Stacy to divulge every single detail. Stacy, bound by my confidence, resisted, but Kathy wouldn't release her until she spilled what little she knew. I was in this town, somewhere nearby. So, Kathy, on her days off, had begun her relentless search, a blush creeping up her neck as she admitted it. I chuckled, the irony not lost on me. Damn, Stacy can't keep her mouth shut. We went to dinner, finding a pleasant spot with a patio. I made sure we didn't drink. I wanted no excuses, no softening of my resolve, no fabricated claims of being too drunk to drive. After our raw emotional exchange, we spoke heart to heart as I walked her to her car. She desperately wanted to stay, pleading with me, insisting she hadn't been with anyone since I left, that I was the only one she wanted. I remained firm. It was far too soon to even contemplate reopening that devastating chapter. She begged to see me again, but I was non-committal, offering only my new email address. She pleaded for my phone number, but I refused. You'll just blow it up with texts and calls, I explained. That brought a fresh wave of tears. She said she'd be back in town next weekend if I was interested. I said nothing. She promised to email me with the details of when and where. Before she left, I asked her point blank, would you forgive me if I'd been the one who cheated? She pondered for a long moment, then said yes, in time. But only, she insisted, if we saw a marriage counselor or worked through the healing process with endless conversations, perhaps even a binding agreement. I considered her proposition, acknowledging that perhaps in 5 or 10 years I might be open to revisiting our relationship. She agreed to wait, if that's what it would take. Holding my hands, she looked deep into my eyes and uttered something utterly unexpected. God damn it, Paul, I will always love you and will do anything to prove it. With that, she was gone. I'm still reeling from the conviction in her voice. The thought of being back with her remains inconceivable. Yet I feel better. Right now, I can't even fathom friends with benefits. Perhaps a friend, but to truly rekindle what was, I just don't know if it could ever work again. Don't call me a fool. Second chances are a rarity in my book. I went home, had a long, invigorating run and a few beers. I felt I was in a good place. Can anyone truly guarantee she wouldn't shatter that peace? I don't know. It's too fresh, too raw. But I have the luxury of time to sort through this maelstrom of emotions, to gain perspective. The second update. This will likely be my final update. I posted my story on Reddit, but the moderators kept removing it. To recap, my ex-wife found me and we talked after I had ghosted her for over a year. Her intention indeed was to reconcile, to restart our life together. For those who wrote predicting I'd be the typical beta male fool, forgiving her and falling back into her arms, you will be sorely disappointed. She recently sent me a lengthy email, once again professing her love and remorse for the affair. She proposed visiting for the weekend. I firmly rejected the idea. I've found contentment in my solitary existence, nestled in my secluded haven, and for now I aim to keep my life as uncomplicated as humanly possible. I've enjoyed the company of several women and friends, and at 32 I feel absolutely no rush to change a single thing. I have my own roadmap, my own self-determination, and I intend to follow it unwavering. So, in my reply, I refused to give her my new phone number. I laid it all out. No, I told her, I have no intention of reconciling with you. You made your bed, and I no longer trust you, nor do I even know you anymore. I wished her the best, acknowledging that perhaps someday, in a future yet to be determined, I might consider her a friend. My vagueness clearly infuriated her. Her reply was incredibly telling. She was, of course, thoroughly disappointed in my response, but she also informed me she had accepted a job offer several states away. Her true intention all along, it became clear, was for me to come with her. She knew my job was remote, allowing me to live anywhere I desired. She had envisioned me joining her, a fresh start for both of us in a new location. With limited time before her departure, she had been desperate to meet in person, to make a compelling case for our potential future. Fortunately for me, I have a week-long business trip, thank God. So she will be gone from my life. I imagine a few more emails will trickle in, but in time I believe she will realize her time with me has expired. She will have to find someone else. And she may cheat on them too. Just wanted to share this update. So guys, live your best life. Shed that old baggage. Empower yourselves to move forward. Good luck to you all. Continue living your best life. Update. Okay, I've been bombarded with update requests, so here it is. I finally reached my breaking point with her emails. I told her I'm done with her. I do not want anything to do with her ever again. No offense, but it was time to tell her to go find someone else who cares. I won't go into too much detail, but I figured if I infuriated her enough, she'd finally leave me alone. I think I succeeded. I haven't received any communication from her in several days. Today, I took the ultimate step of blocking her email address. I'm even considering closing down my entire email account if she tries to find another way to reach me. I appreciate all the messages encouraging me to take decisive action. My resolve is ironclad. I am severing all ties. The ghosting is back. Oh, and for those who asked about the Mountain Man girl, she's been dying to visit, so I'll see her over the holidays. We'll see how that goes. I also just met another sweet lady, and I'm going out with her this weekend. Life is good. Fourth update, final word on. This I recently bumped into my ex at the airport. That's where she confronted me about my Reddit posts. I'm not sure which one she saw, as I've had several updates, but she was talking about what happened a year ago. How did she find my posts? A mutual friend with whom I had shared my story gave her the link. Obviously, I am no longer friends with him. I had shared this in confidence, something I thought I'd made abundantly clear. I now have a strict policy. Any negative people, any drama queens I encounter are immediately purged from my life. Regardless, the cat is out of the bag. If this creates distance between us, then that's a fantastic outcome. Otherwise, I've turned the corner. It's truly wonderful to hear you've moved forward, embracing your best life. Facing and overcoming challenges can indeed be a powerful catalyst for personal growth. I wish you continued success and happiness in all your endeavors. If sharing your story helps others reflect on their own actions and choices, it might just contribute to positive change. Thank you for sharing your journey. May your future be filled with joy and fulfillment. Just to clarify any confusion about the timeline, everything between the main story and this last update unfolded over a 2-year span. Let's glance at the comments before we wrap this up. One user shared a poignant tale. A friend of mine went through something similar, only he was engaged, not married. He ghosted her immediately upon discovering her infidelity. Her affair fog vanished, replaced by profound despair. She sank into a severe depression for months, missing him desperately, contacting his family and friends, apologizing to everyone who knew them. Most initially condemned her, but she weathered it with surprising grace. I actually liked her. She was friendly, funny, and great to be around. She genuinely made an effort to connect with his friends, while she had few of her own and he had many. She found him and apologized endlessly. He didn't accept her back, but they started talking. He was thriving, career-wise, freedom-wise, and surrounded by women. He told her he'd had enough women for a lifetime. It seemed he was involved with attractive women, yet none possessed the same captivating aura as his ex. Despite her envy and sadness, the ex persisted in staying in touch. Later, he revealed he started a physical relationship with her, devoid of any emotional attachment. One striking condition she imposed: he had to be safe with others, and not to engage intimately with her if he'd slept with others within a week. Essentially, he was sleeping around while she remained exclusively with him. After 2 years, I saw them together, having coffee, holding hands, her gaze fixed on him with unwavering devotion and adoration. I was genuinely happy for them, and when I met them, I was truly kind to her. Apparently, I was the only one who had been nice to her when she first approached me. That was 3 years ago. Now they are re-engaged and incredibly happy. She had truly changed. The key, according to him, was that she passed the test to redemption, a process agonizing for her, witnessing him with other girls and her patient endurance of his relentless, probing questions. He would taunt her about past experiences, perhaps outings or holding hands during shopping trips. Despite being startled, she would calmly deny the specifics. These incidents continued for about a year until he ran out of questions. So friends, I believe in reconciliation, but the efforts by the wayward spouse must be genuine. Good luck, OP. My reply: that's not the path I would choose, but I'm glad it worked out for him. Another response: that is actually a very, very sweet story. If my wife or girlfriend ever cheated on me, the only way I would consider taking her back would be if she did something like this. And finally, a comment that perfectly encapsulates the truth. She found out what most cheaters do not, or will not, understand. The grass is dead when you cheat with another cheater. The entire relationship with cheaters is built on lies, deceptions, and ego. You are doing the right thing. And that's a wrap for today, dear viewers. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss out. Until next time, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, since you've listened to the end of this story, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments which state you're watching from. Let's see what percentage of elite viewers make it to the end. And please kindly turn your attention to the screen after this message. There you'll find a full playlist of thrilling stories, a subscribe button for the channel, and our most captivating story. Click, enjoy, and thank you.